Hello and welcome to a very special bonus episode of the Pro Crastinators podcast, where we, 18th century nobles, have gathered at a speakeasy watering hole.
A speezy for short.
A speezy for short, as we call it among the aristocracy. To recount our tale, to recount tales of our many travels throughout the land. So, we are playing a game. The game is called what's it called? It is the Extraordinary Adventures of Baron Munchausen, and this is a book you can buy on the internet. And it's a short book with some rules and some fluff in it. And basically, the gist of the game is that you go around a table, making up stories based on prompts that you give each other about your travels through the world of antiquity, and you're all a bunch of fucking nerds and stuff. And it's I guess I'll just let the game speak for itself. But there's a system wherein you can object to one another's stories. We all have tokens. I'm gonna clink my little coin purse here. We've got tokens for making objections or wagers to each other's stories, and that's a whole thing. I won't go too in depth about the rules. We've all studied them. We all know them. So I think we should go around the table and introduce ourselves. I am Archbishop Ben Saint of the Aristotelian aristocracy of Mennonites. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Who else do we have here assembled?
What's this? What is this table of fine gents? I see. This is a Gentile table. I see. This is a table of people of true blood, of which I definitely am. I belong here, along with you famed aristocrats. It is me, Baron Munchausen, who is a gentleman of esteemed repute, who can be verified on all levels of Christ consciousness, famed historiographer, philosopher, English language arts titan. I am a true social studies Super Saiyan, and I'm here to, brush elbows with fellow members of my esteemed upper class. It feels really good to be rich and white, and it feels so good to be those things, like I currently am.
It's good to be noble. We all get to hobnob. We'll get to hobnob at
we get to slobnob as well. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah.
I would say that's a very common thing to say, unless it isn't, in which case I believe that as well.
Well, who knows how they do it over in the New World? Baron Munchausen. Strange customs. Would you care to introduce yourself, stranger?
That's you, mage.
No, it was you.
What?
Because you just...
Oh.
It doesn't matter.
I thought we were going in... well, I see you found yourself to my table, fellow scoundrels and criminals.
You've been interrupting us the entire time.
I don't know who that guy was, but I kicked him out of here. Yes, welcome to my place of business. You've entered the realm of the fast-talking, fast-fucking officer, Dr. Rumsfeld, Big Guns Cowboy. Yes, that's right. I'm an officer, a doctor, and my last name's Cowboy, and I carry big guns. I'm the chief operating officer of Surgery Incorporated. So that's right. I'm operating you on the table, and I'm operating you on the capitalist system, my brothers. So here I am. I'm from the New World. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about how to make it in the big city, which you people haven't invented yet. But luckily for you, I'm bringing it to you. Here I go. And that's my money, and you ain't going to touch it or see it.
Dear surgeon, I ask you, hand over my heart in fear. I implore you to tell me, please, you are from the New World. What is the best One Piece villain? Please explain.
I object. We've got look, we're all busy.
That's for you. Make a pilgrimage to the new land, my friend, and maybe you'll develop a brain along the way and be able to formulate your own opinion.
I don't know about all these. I don't know about all these heathen works coming out of the Far East and the land of the rising sun. I'm deeply suspicious.
I've made a fortune peddling them, smuggling them, translating them, scanlating them, re-uploading them, downloading them, torrenting them. You know. Everything you can do.
It's like the apple of the sea, really.
What is he speaking French, Baron Munchausen? I don't understand these tongues. We've got one more seat at our table here. Would you care to introduce yourself, stranger?
Yes. Good evening, dear lords, and those of lesser status. I am Princess of Purple Plains, a land uncharted yet by your primitive maps. My name is Aurora, quotation mage and quotation magus, the first and lethal, and I am very pleased to be joining you this evening.
What was the title? I missed it.
Magus?
Princess of Purple Plains.
Princess. Oh my goodness. Oh, we sit among esteemed company here tonight, lords and ladies, and Doctor.
Don't call me Doctor. You can call me Officer.
Officer. Lords, ladies, and Officer Doctor. Yes.
I am astounded at the fact that we are in the presence of a princess, unless that is a common thing to be here in the nobility, in which case I am extremely unvexed.
Nonplussed.
Yeah. I am the one and only, the first and lethal.
We are,
fucking sick. I mean, frickin' sick, as we say here, as the white people say, which I am.
Yeah, much better, much better. So, we've got, well said, my swarthy white colleague. So we're here. We've got, we've retired for the night, and we've got nothing to do but fill our glasses with Monster Energy Ultra Zero, the latest craze among the aristocracy.
Speaking of white, this witch's brew sure kicks a spot. Oops, I mean priest Caucasian is what I meant by that.
So,
that Dutch East India Company sure can import a brew, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And also whip some slaves, am I right?
I'll drink to that. So I think the time has come to we should pass the evening in such pleasant company, regaling each other with tales of our travels. For this land is vast, and the Lord hath filled it with such bounty, such intriguing nonsense that we might entertain one another with tales of its
such
ridiculosity.
Impromptu prompts.
Yes.
Improv prompt. It's so impressive.
We I think I've wet my noble whistle enough.
Well, you talk a big game, Mr. Archbishop, sure, but do the words of the Lord reach down to the masses such as myself?
Rarely.
I'm just a humble country southern slave owner, but far be it from me to not want to hear a story from a man of God. So, now that I've thoroughly changed my character, please tell me the incident where you accidentally impregnated the Pope? Question mark?
Yes. For you see, this was after the great Vatican Congress of 17 XDX, wherein it was decided that the Pope, by the close reading of the scriptures, revealed that the Pope and members of the higher clergy were not in fact allowed to take wives, but were in fact allowed to take husbands. And so, in this brief window of history, it was all the rage. The new world likes to pretend. The Americas pretend that they invented same-sex marriage, but really, it was in fact the Catholics.
But surely, Archbishop, surely, if I've read the Bible correctly, with my great knowledge and grasp of Latin, surely, if I've read it correctly, homosexuality is a sin, is it not?
My swarthy friend. As a matter of fact, you may have read that in Leviticus, but in Hieronymus, it says. Don't you remember Hieronymus Bosch, chapter 17, verse 22? That says,
like
by
the
the
back
way.
of my hand.
That says, by the way, dear reader, I was talking to God yesterday, and he said Leviticus was bullshit, and don't listen to it. Here, I'm gonna take this token of my apprition. Your objection.
I will.
But alas, no. It's all bullshit. Everything you believe.
Sick.
So yes, I was, being of high noble status and high aristocracy as well as high clergy. I was engaged and married to the Pope, and we honeymooned in Guam, on the salt beaches, sipping.
Wait just a second there.
Oh, God.
I might be a simple country slave owner, but even I know that Guam was not dredged from the bottom of the ocean until nigh 5 years ago, a half a coon's age. Now, how do you explain that, sir?
Officer Doctor, yes. The Monster Energy Ultra Zero must have fogged my memories a bit. For I was speaking not of Guam the country, but of Guam the great sea turtle who had swum past God's England, this land which we're in, I think. At this after our honeymoon, as our honeymoon approached, the turtle, the Guam the turtle swam past, and we just kind of jumped, we just sort of hop, skip, and jumped over the little gap, and so we spent a year honeymooning out at sea, drifting along the Pacific the Gulf Stream, drifting along the Gulf Stream. I used contraception, I used, which is also forbidden.
That's
and
what
then
they all
and
say.
then unforbidden in the Bible. I took pains, but alas, the Pope did fall with child. However, when it was born, when the child was born, the great turtle,
Alas, he was born Jewish, as I recall.
the turtle demanded the child as a sacrifice, and so we left him with him. He's living in his belly now, growing up as a strong, virile youth. I visited him just last week. Just last week, he swum by, and we caught up a bit. He's the turtle mancer now.
I like to imagine that you're about to get off and the turtle's like, hey, wait, what about payment? And then you and the Pope are like, well, dude, we're broke. I mean, is there any other way that we can pay you? And then he looks at the Pope's pregnant belly and he thinks, yeah, there's one way.
He licks his lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it happened. That's my tale, and every word is true. And if anyone should deny it, I would challenge them to drink a barrel of brandy in a single swallow. Huzzah!
Huzzah! I dare say, Archbishop Ben, that was one of the best stories I've ever heard in me life.
Indeed. Agreed on all counts. Pip pip, cheerio.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Excelsior.
That was indeed extraordinary.
Money.
Money?
Money.
Well, let's see. I gave a coin to Ben.
I accepted. I accepted Munchies.
Mm-hmm.
So,
does that mean that I get a coin for that?
If I accepted yours, then no, I took your coin. But I think I defied the officer doctor's one. So
you defied Munchies.
Yes.
You went along with mine.
Oh, okay.
So,
then Baron
Munchie gets two.
Baron Munchausen gains one because he wagered one, and then I riposted
So I just
with
take
one.
back my coin. I'm with 5 now.
So, well, you should
got
have one
6
more.
Munchies.
You should have one more.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ben's
okay.
got,
Ben's got
4, but
officer-
then with me, he gained 1 from me. So
An
he's back to 5.
An
and I'm at
office,
4.
an officer Dr. Cowboy should have 4, and I should have 5.
That's right.
And that's what I have. So the system works, gentlemen.
Hot dog! Video games sure have come a long way, haven't they?
God frowns
bless.
on God frowns on the AAA development scene. But anyway, telling that story, Baron Munchausen reminded me of a tale that I heard whispered by scullery maids and gin house workers. About how it was that you, and not Francis Bacon, wrote the plays of William Shakespeare.
Ah, yes. This takes me back to my youth as a wayward adult with a lot of fame and fortune, who grew up
Been there.
in the most prestigious of neighborhoods. And I had to think to myself, listen, buddy, look yourself in the mirror. You have so much, like, social points at your disposal. What more could you want? Well, it just so happens that by a twist of fate, I had somehow scrounged up zero money for the month, despite my vast wealth. Some problem with an accounting, I assure you.
Probably the peasantry, rabble rousing or some nonsense.
Higher minimum wage, stuff like that.
Cost of living.
Me, a comfortable aristocrat, was forced out of his home and onto the streets, and I had to think to myself, what skills do I possess in order to get myself back on top and rescue my dwindling career as a professional person with money? Well, what easier way than to write a golden piece of classic English literature? What easier quick wit scream than that?
It truly is the lowest of art forms. The theater, fie on it, I say.
Well, what minimum wage does to the aristocrats? I mean, I just can't believe it. I can't believe what it's forcing us to do right now. Mm-hmm. So I gang up with a ragtag team of gangsters and villains, the likes of which include Francis Bacon, various Napoleon Bonaparte before his time. A bunch of these sorts of people all congregating in the slums of England, just getting together to write the Big Short's lesser-known movie counterpart, The Wolf of Wall Street, to create a small little, English literature, like, pumping out station in the slums of England. So you got me, Napoleon Bonaparte, Francis Bacon, and this up-and-coming, rough-and-tumble kid by the name of William Shakespeare. A no-good youth, I say, wobbling my cane. He comes in here. We're all making a nice story together. We're all making some hackneyed shit. We're all making some two families in Italy. They have two counterparts. They have a daughter and a son. They want to marry each other, but they can't due to the familiar disputes. Some fucking schlock, some pulp shit, and we're all just cranking it out for the masses to lap up. Little known fact. You may have thought that Hamlet, as the story I just described goes, you may have thought that it was the original idea, but that was actually completely wrong. I was actually thinking of Hamlet way before I released its more popular counterpart, Undertale. It just is, I thought of the characters of Hamlet first, and then I reintegrated into a different story so it flowed better. But Hamlet was actually the first idea that we had. But that little punk, that little fucking slice of dyke pie, William Shakespeare. It was gonna be
Baron. Contain yourself. We're in polite company.
It was supposed to be a five-way split between me, Napoleon Bonaparte, Francis Bacon, and God himself, William Shakespeare. But that little scamp took our precious manuscripts, our ink, all of our pens, our chairs. He took he took Francis Bacon's wife along with him. The absolute thief, cowardly cad and thief.
Now, hang on just a minute there. As I recall, Francis Bacon was a well-known fag. So how is it conceivably possible that he could take the man's wife? Tell me that.
I see we have a transphobe in the audience, everyone. I see that we have a transphobe. Viewing his beautiful, beautiful wife as a man, even though she's clearly transitioned and left that life behind. I see that you cannot accept her for what she is on the inside, Officer Nate. You fucking bitch!
My people don't believe in anything.
Maybe the Americas aren't so queer after all. Yeah.
We're working on electing Obama right now as fast as possible.
Cheers to that, Officer Doctor.
You are besmirching her dearly departed memory. God rest her soul. And I will not have you misgender Francis Bacon, adoring, loving wife, who I've shared the bedroom with on many occasions. I can attest that she's truly the height of civilization. So, as I was saying, my arch nemesis, William Shakespeare, stole the manuscripts that I basically made all myself. You know, there were some other people in France, fuck them. They don't even matter. I poured my heart and soul into this soulless cash grab, Hamlet. I wrote it in like a day. It wasn't even hard. It wasn't even a big deal. I just typed some shit out, edited it once, and it was good to go. And that just fucking bitch, William Shakespeare, took it. You know what? He just took it right out of the printer. I was gonna try and go ease on him. I was gonna try and manufacture my story a little bit to make him seem less villainous, but he was actually way worse than you could ever have imagined. He just plucked it right out of the fucking, the inker. What's a typewriter? He took it right out of the typewriter, and he ran straight to the King of England, presenting Hamlet on a silver platter with lettuce and tomatoes and carrots and all sort of glorious root vegetables such as that.
The sheer villainy of it.
Fit for a king.
And he says, truly, my sire, this proves I am fit to sail across the sea, and I am fit to find a new sea lane to India in order to reroute, to lessen the Ottoman stranglehold on the spice trade.
This confirms my liege. You've been looking for a model for the latest fleshlight. I, sir, am the only one qualified to be the mold. If you follow me, if you follow.
And the king was like, my God, my stars, you are completely right. William Shakespeare, creator of Hamlet and Undertale. You have my full support to do this adventure to India, and then before I could stab him with my sword and / shoot him with my gun and challenge him to a duel.
In that order.
Yeah. William Shakespeare had hopped on a boat with several copies of Hamlet and sailed, and where did he find? Nothing less than the New World, gentlemen. Nothing less than the New World. The New World was mine to discover. It was mine to find, but that bitch had stolen Hamlet and the code for Undertale, taken it to the King of England, and stolen my valor. And he started the transatlantic slave trade, so that's not good either. That's not great or anything.
Funny coincidence. So my ex-husband, the Pope, was a big fan of Undertale, as a matter of fact. Well, big fan of that William Shakespeare and the New World.
So now I'm relegated,
and an even bigger fan of slavery.
I'm relegated to merely role playing my own characters. I spent all this time I'm just role playing my own characters, pretending to be Sans. Let's play in Roblox. It's just a nightmare. And that's my story. And it's tragic.
Huzzah! I say, what a
all my years of practicing medicine and capitalism.
What a sordid tale. It explains a lot. Explains a lot about this world.
Oops, I'll kill him legally via duel.
Yeah.
No, that's all good.
I'll drink to legal duels. I'll drink to blood in the streets. Legal blood.
It's so good not being such ruffians and losers and commoners, that we have such high class ways of settling your misdemeanors, such as duels. As duels.
What's do you make any tokens? Do we get any wagers on that one?
I threw down a face down for Munchie, but he rolled with it, so I think I get it back, and that's it.
No, he takes it.
What? No,
if
that's not right.
No, if he rolls with it, he takes it.
Oh shit! Wait, you're right. Okay, you're right. He does get that token. Okay.
Damn.
Huzzah.
I mean, darn.
There we go.
I
Much
mean,
better.
fuck.
I mean, oh no, I can't say that.
By my stars and garters.
Getting all heated up and getting all, crippling depressed has got me thinking a lot about a story that I heard, the grapevine a little bit, just a little tiny little speck of that, where you, Princess
Mage, that is, yes.
You had cured someone's depression. You had cured their gender dysphoria of the Queen of Azerbaijan? You had cured all that ails her, the anxiety, the depression, the gender dysphoria. You had cured it for her? How did this come about?
Oh, that I am surprised you have heard about this story, though I suppose it has reached many ears. It all started with my journey outside of my lands, which is the same journey that I'm currently on now, still traveling.
Oh, so this was a couple days ago.
It was not a couple of days ago.
It was early this morning, actually.
It is a very long journey. You mortals will not understand. But
Right.
a while ago, I was traveling across the lands of you mortals, and I have come across this Azerbaijan, as you call it, and
as some would call it, yeah.
As some would call it. We have our own names, but I will speak your language, so you would understand.
Over in the colonies, we call it Drumps America 2.
Oh, I don't.
Think about it.
Think
about it. All right,
I get it.
Okay.
That is a mouthful.
Azerbaijan isn't? Okay, all right.
It is not. It is not quite as big of a mouthful. And ladies do not speak with their mouths full. So
True.
I'll drink to that, gentlemen.
So I came across this land, and I was met with quite the hostility due to my skin being purple and all. You people have not seen much of that, I assume.
It is definitely some witchcraft that's making. I'm really having to down this Monster Energy Zero Ultra, not to have to go flagellate myself. Yeah.
All from my land come in purple shades, so it is not all that. You are the strange ones to me.
Sure.
So yes, I came across. I came into this land as a stranger, met with hostility, and I was thrown into the prison and deemed a witch, a mere witch. That was an insult to me.
Can't say I blame him.
That was an insult to me, and I was going to be.
I think Ben just questioned your nobility. I think the Archbishop just called you a lowly witch. He's questioning your bloodline.
I'm just saying, based on all my clerical training, would probably lead me to the same course of action. I think I'm sympathizing with the villains a little bit in this story.
I'm appalled by your gall to say such a rude thing, unless this is common, in which case I completely agree, and I demand to see paperwork of your birth.
Princess Mage, I'll wager, based on my many experience with demons and witches
and many prejudices with such a group.
Yeah, my many anti-demon bigotries that I hold in my heart. That you were lashed to a post and nearly burned at the stake. I bet that they attempted to burn you alive.
The funny thing is, I was about to actually get to that. They have indeed tried to execute me and burn me at the stake. However, their mere mortal flames did not even graze my skin. And as when they noticed that the flames were doing naught, they all bowed down and praised me.
Oh Lord!
And
this is heresy. I need another drink.
They begged for forgiveness. Because their primitive arrows did not pierce me either, and
these savage,
they could not
savage
slay
Azerbaijani.
Me. But where's the Queen of Azerbaijan being a trans woman? Where is
I am getting to this. You did not just waltz into a country and meet their nobility, now do you?
Well, if you're as rich and influential as me, maybe things work slightly differently.
Well, they did see me as an enemy first, dear Munchie. So it takes a little bit to go from witch to meeting with the nobility.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair.
So once they realized
suck
they
my
could
toe
not
dick or
slay me, they did they did the next best thing that they could, and they begged for forgiveness and their lives, which I was generous enough to grant them. So, being so grateful to me that I spared their lives, they decided to let me go meet their leader, which was having a very bad time, as you
As you do with
like
gender
Sam
dysphoria.
as you mentioned.
Gender
with
dysphoria truly is the devil's cruelest trick.
and depression and many other things that I am not at liberty to disclose.
Oh man, this one's deeper than I thought.
Yes. So, seeing their leader in such distraught, I realized that their hostility might have been provoked mostly due to their all cumulative depression that they've gathered from the leader. So, being that the
It's
goodwill,
tone at the top. Tone at the top.
Yeah.
being the goodwill princess that I am, I gave a drop of my purple blood to the leader, and that cured them all of her illnesses.
They were feeling blue was the problem. They just needed to feel a little purple to fix that right up.
Exactly.
They all just
So,
had to enlist killers. I'm sorry, what?
having a drink of my blood cured them, and they came back 5 times as strong and healthy as they were before.
Oh
And
Lord! I'm the drinking.
Lord,
The
sustain me.
only blood drinking I can condone is that of Christ, princess.
who's to say that I'm not that of Christ?
Oh sweet Jesus! I need another stiff belt of
I
my
just want to take
drink.
this moment to say that I love God.
Oh, cheers
Thank
to that.
you.
Unless the
you.
people don't like God, in which case I'd like to go on the record as saying I hate God.
Oh, I'm gonna have to flagellate myself pretty good this evening after this conversation.
But there we go. That is the story. And once I have cured her, she granted me with their riches and set me off on my way.
Huzzah! I dare say that was the most disturbing tale of witchcraft and wizardry I ever heard since that young upstart from the New World, J.K. Rowling's.
Except she's not from the New World.
Yeah.
She's from jolly old England where we live.
Oh hell! Oh bloody hell! Oh my stars and garters.
Speaking of the riches that were granted to me,
I wagered you a coin and you accepted it. So
Yes.
you
that's
take one.
as-
And I'm down to 4.
What a bore.
Which of us has told a tale thus far?
It's Chief Executive Officer Cowboy Big Guns.
yes,
if
I
recall
was
correctly.
actually
she was
getting
to
to
it.
that.
People are interrupting her. Let her.
Yes.
All right, go on.
I have a sense of deja vu of this situation, yet I do not recall where from. And me being interrupted, that is a weird
yeah.
feeling.
Yeah. I'm sure it doesn't happen to a princess very often.
Yes, it does not. That's why it's so odd to have a deja vu of something that does not happen to me.
Indeed.
So, speaking of the riches that I was granted, that reminds me of a tale that has reached even my own country. That you, dear lowly cowboy doctor person, you have
Officer Dr. Rumsford Big Guns Cowboy, I'll have you know.
Yes,
Cowboy
that a mere simple mortal, not even of noble birth, have discovered the 8th sea while chasing down an elusive treasure known as the Star of the Aegis.
Ah, that's quite a
Cowboy
tale.
Big Guns gonna get out of this one?
Well, let me tell you how it all went down. You see, I was in hot pursuit of my villainous arch rival, the Red, not Baron, the Red Scare is what he was known as. I had to hunt down and destroy the Red
Yeah.
Scare. That's right. So when I was in hot pursuit, you see, he had stolen from my company. Sorry, what was the name of that jewel? The Star of David, I think.
Aegis.
The Star
Oh,
of
no.
the Star of the Aegis.
The Star of the Aegis, right. You see, we were in a hot deal. We had just shipped that in from the Orient, where we just acquired this most valuable possession. It was going to be used to barter for opening trade routes all across the world. We were going to use this capital because, you see, the lower classes, they only respond to shiny things. And this was the maximum shiny thing we could find. So that's what we were going to use. We're going to enchant them all. So you see, that had been stolen by that damn Red Scare, twirling his mustache and dashing across the deserts of America, and I was in hot pursuit. When you see, I stumbled upon a glade in the center of the continental United States, the colonies as they're still known, and or maybe they're not, I don't know. And you see, I tripped and fell. I fell ass backwards into a strange, uncharted body of water. I didn't know what it was, and then I stood up and I looked around and I saw big sluts, just sluts as far as the eye could see, lining the sides of this body of water, leading out towards the horizon. And as I made my way here, I told my men to put down their rucksacks and follow me, because there was clearly lots of work to do this evening. And so we all filed out single file. We began swamming out into this body of water. When all of a sudden, from the center of it, a giant old man, the size of a planet, came out.
Oh my God.
That's right.
Sir.
You see, this was merely a pond that we were looking at, but this old man was the size of an entire new world. He was the real new world in the new world. He's what they were talking about. And he opened his mouth, and inside his mouth, you see, that's where the real eighth ocean of the world was. Those sluts were just there to keep him from leaving, to sexually satisfy him so he wouldn't wander off, and they could continue to capitalize on all the riches found inside his mouth. You know, the fish and the mermaids that live in there, and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
I say, Officer Dr. Cowboy, I'll wager that the stench of this old man's mouth sea was powerful enough. Was powerful enough to knock your entire company clean off their horses. I'll reckon that it might have so sickened and nauseated your company that the mission was put in danger of failing.
Well, you'll see. There's a reason, my fair Archbishop, that you are correct. And for you see, there's a reason why we only have 7 C's, and that I didn't add this 8th one, for it would have been a lucrative venture. Because you see, it's true. We felt the stench coming from his mouth, and we began fouling ourselves. We began uncontrollably loosing all liquids from all orifices of our bodies without restraint. That's right.
Huzzah!
And those huzzah! And those sluts, and those fair sluts, in kind, they too let loose their bowels. For you see, it was a grand orgy, not of what I originally intended it to be, but of feces and of urine and of all the things you wouldn't want to happen. And you see the huzzah! And the fair older gentleman, in which was contained a new 8th C that would have been such a great asset to my company. He was so disgusted by the scent that he had no choice but to say, "Peace." And began rising.
What a hypocrite!
All this talk of feces is sure making me hungry. Oops, I mean, revolted. Yeah, revolted.
Indeed. And you see, he rose up out of that body of water, and he shot like a celestial ejaculate into the stars, and off he went, leaving us with dirty britches and dirty minds.
Ejac, as we call it in the business.
Yeah, he straight ejacked my fair nobleman.
Yeah,
he straight ejacked out of there.
Yeah.
And alas, we retained the star of Osiris or whatever the hell, but at what cost? At what cost? And that was the tale.
I say, Officer Cowboy, that was the most disgusting story I've ever heard.
And alas, the most true. I'm sorry, I'm still changing my diapers to this very day.
The thought of sluts bathing turned my holy stomach.
Oh, that's what did it, sir. I see.
Yeah.
I must say, that was the most appetizing story I've ever heard. Please winch more hors d'oeuvres.
That was
I'll be
quite
taking-
revolting.
Agreed.
I mean, yeah,
Agreed.
it sucked. Die.
I'll be taking that coin.
Yes,
sir.
take
I'm up
mine. Chink.
I'm up to 4
I mean, clink.
coins here.
And not to offend our friends from the Orient. So have we all told a tale?
We've all
That's
told true stories, as far as I can tell.
Well,
Outs here.
then
Unless the
then,
name of the game is to tell fake stories, in which I did it spectacularly.
then it's time. It's time for us to take our remaining tokens, and we decide. We vote with what's left of our coin purses on who we feel told the best story, the tallest tale, the story that cast its teller in the noblest light, and just the most all around who fucking we want to give some money to.
Do me a favor. Could we just go around and say the name of our tale or something? Because I kind of forget what everybody said.
Law. My name's the William Shakespeare story.
Yes,
where
right.
he made Undertale.
What was my story? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
With the turtle and the,
turtle, yeah.
Pope.
Yes, marrying the Pope. Yes, how
That's
I
right,
got the Pope
impregnating the Pope,
pregnant?
yes.
Question mark! Exclamation point. Yes, the tale of knocking the Pope up. That's what my story was called.
My story was curing the leader of the Azerbaijan.
That's right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and mine,
And
of course, was
depression.
the old man and the feces-filled sea.
The old
Yeah,
man
Cowboy Big
contained.
Guns, classic.
It was the old man containing the sea. It was the novel.
I'm
Get it?
putting
Like,
4 down for impregnating the Pope.
Hot damn.
Yep.
Well, I've got 3 left. I'm putting 3 down for writing the tales of Shakespeare.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
I will put my 6 towards the Pope story as well.
Oh, all right.
Holy shit.
And I'm also doing for the Pope stories. That's 7, I believe. No, it's
Oh my
8.
God.
It's 8. 8 for you.
I've won in a landslide. God be praised.
Huzzah!
There
Huzzah!
it is.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
All right. Well, if we were, then I would buy drinks. I would buy the next round for the assembled, but it would be improper for a man of God to go.
Well, gentlemen,
to go
As he slurps
inviting
his
sin on
Monster
his
Energy
fellows.
It's been an honor. It's been an honor playing this game with you. Unfortunately, I have a mad case of the runnies, as the aristocracy calls it. So I must be back in a moment or two.
Fair enough. Let's do another round in a moment.
Yeah. I think we've got time, and there's time left in the evening before I have to go and
Self-flagellate.
scarify myself. Yeah, before I have to go and do some of the old fuck. What's that called? What's it called? I'm forgetting my Jesus studies.
Is it not flagellation?
Stigmata. Gotta go some of
Right.
that self stigmata.
Oh God.
Does
That's how you get.
Does it not just happen on its own? Or...
Sometimes miracles need a little push, Princess Mage.
Sometimes miracles need a little push from real life, from
Yeah.
actuality. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you need assistance?
Fuck, I'm crossing myself and sweating profusely at the suggestion. Let's discuss the state of affairs.
The state
in
of
the world.
Israel, invalid, I'd say. Invalid, I would say.
Agreed. Almost as bad as France right now.
That's true. Now there's an invalid state.
The Hebrews and the non-Christians are almost as loathsome as the French across the channel.
Damn
bunch of
frogs.
Never
trust a frog.
Cheese-eating frog fuckers.
I heard they also eat snails. What horrendous people.
Does their depravity have no end?
Such debauchery.
Just give me a Philadelphia cheese steak. That's what we eat.
Give me a
in the business world.
Just give
the
me
doctor world.
Just give
and
me
the
a
cowboy
glass,
world.
Just give me a glass of tap water and a roll of hardtack bread with a solid bar of gold in the middle. Is what I'll take. For Jesus.
Yep. A sprinkling of gold helps any medicine go down.
I will now open my magical box of these delicious mallows, and I will have some.
Man, I wish I had that.
Truly decadent.
I
A
wish
truly,
I'd
a truly
budgeted
decadent treat for the nobility. I imagine that some master pâtissiers, the ingredients for that kind of thing, they gotta come from like the far
clouds
swamps of the
themselves.
Mediterranean. And also probably the clouds themselves, maybe even the kingdom of the moon.
Yes.
Which I've many of my colleagues have visited and told
There's
great
the
things
old
about.
story of the rabbits in the moon pounding rice into confections that those guys
Quite hard little workers. I have seen them in my travels.
I hear that they eat rice on the moon and corn on the sun. Hence the color difference.
Makes sense.
But everyone's got to get their grains. Everyone's got to get their grains.
You've got to eat your grains.
You've got to eat your grains, as the old bard's song goes. Sung in taverns and gin houses across the continent.
It's a legendary,
and even as far as
tale.
France. Yeah.
Not much information gets in or out of France. There's a thickness of the borders and a thickness of the minds.
It's truly where learning goes to die, and culture as well.
Ever since they inverted the what's that thing called? The Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it used to stick down into the earth. It used to be a
I preferred it that way.
Well. Yeah. It used to be a well, but then they turned it inside out on their king went mad, turned it inside out. Now it's just useless. Now it's just a bauble.
I love the sound of this sweet, sweet currency. Oh God, yeah, there it is. Truly, I'm totally filling this time.
Your physical shekels offend me.
I'll pull out two more tokens to fill myself back to 5 for the next round. When that swarthy white gentleman, Baron Munchausen, comes back.
Perhaps we could reverse the order this time so we can give prompts to different people.
Oh, it's a good idea.
I agree. I agree with that. Either of you wanna start? Anyone feel like being the first to go this time?
I say we nominate him to go first this time on account of dragon ass across the toilet.
I'm also gonna stop by the privy. I'll return it hence with.
Sorry.
Why did he go now instead of before?
That is his way. The man of the Lord.
All right, well, okay, we can cut some of this, I guess. I guess
No,
I'll
it's
just
funny.
also go
It's
while I have
funny.
a chance.
What was discussed, esteemed Gentiles, while I was away, tending to bodily needs?
For the next round, we will reverse order so we can give prompts to different people.
Sure.
That is the only significant thing that has been discussed.
Is this going to be in the audiograph, vinyl?
Yes.
Great. I'm it's so nice that the modern day inventions, such as vinyl discs, have been invented so the masses can learn, the unwashed masses can learn of our historic and memorable adventurous feats.
Yes.
I'm gonna give a cheers to that.
I have returned, lords, ladies,
Huzzah.
and officer doctor. Huzzah!
Huzzah! Well, God be with ye,
And also with ye.
I dare say that there's a few moments before my execution. Oops, I mean my birthday party is scheduled. So I say we play another round of the video game.
Undertale?
No, the video
My
game
God.
we were just playing, which I think in lore might not be real.
No, it's real. Oh, it's a real game.
We've
all read the tome
yes.
of
We're all familiar with the tales of Munchausen.
Perhaps
the greatest,
we can make these rounds a little bit faster this time round. Just some short stories.
Yes. Okay. Let's
get
a
to it.
little
Let's
briefer
stop
than the
fucking
last. All right.
Mage,
all right.
why don't you give the first prompt, and we'll go in the reverse
We're
order.
going
as
in
you
reverse
suggest.
order. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm giving a prompt to
Although
much.
I mean that will mean that Nate goes last, or Officer Doctor Rumsfeld Cowboy will go last both times.
Rumsford, Big Guns Cowboys. The name Officer Doctor's the game.
Is that okay? Are we cool with that? Officer
why
Doctor,
would
is that
we?
okay?
Why would we
Okay.
not be?
I don't
who
know.
gives a shit?
Maybe
Let's go.
maybe you don't want to go. I don't know.
Very well. So I'm giving a prompt to Mr. Munchausen.
Baron Munchausen.
Baron.
Are you? Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I've heard the story. As I was passing some peasants about a very interesting tale of you crossing the desert in search of your twin brother.
Ah, yes. This takes me way back before, way back to a time rather memorable when time was fleeting, euphoric, and ephemeral. It takes me back to when I was the Lawrence of a little place you may have heard of called Egypt. Yeah, okay. I was just, on one of my many missions for the crown. One of the many things that the crown, the king, the glorious, God be with you, king. God save the king. One of the very manyest things that he has sent me on in my esteemed life. He sent me to the colony of Egypt to oversee its administration and make sure those slaves are being whipped as hard as possible. And so
Now there's
I
an
set
enterprise we can all get
Yeah,
behind.
here.
And so when I was docked in the Nile. I entered the beautiful city of Alexandria, and there I saw a library. I may have burned it down. Who knows? You're not supposed to light cigars. 12 Cuban cigars inside of a library. No one told me that. Let's just move on from that before anyone calls the cops on me. So I began my journey to Lower Egypt because recently it's been in revolt. Due to an overabundance of slaves not wanting to be whipped as hard. Unacceptable, and I don't even understand why. I mean, okay.
There's nothing worse than a rowdy employee. Permanent employee, unwilling employee is still an employee in my eyes.
Being whipped is their lot in life.
Homes, food,
disgraceful.
Shelter, dogs in some instances.
Slave
watchdogs, but still.
A slave not being whipped is like an actor not acting, or a clockmaker not clockmaking.
With a broken reed. Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. So I begin.
Huzzah!
I begin to traverse the dangerous Nile, warding off attacks from one peasant native to the other peasant native, hopping across alligator snouts, and just generally trying to avoid the overgrown fauna and flora that is just exuberant in the Nile. The Nile is just chock full of various, like mini game challenges for me to overcome. There was one time where I had to play Mario Party against someone, but I digress. It was a hassle. It was a true hassle. And then I get there. I get to Lower Egypt. After nearly having my life ripped from my body and my soul sent to the kingdom of heaven, I arrive in Lower Egypt, ready to enslave some people yet again and help my father, my father in heaven do what has to be done by me to help the King of England achieve his goals. And I single-handedly, and by single-handedly, I mean I called in a cavalry charge that I watched from a distance. I single-handedly routed the slave army who had set the townsfolks, the neighboring towns on fire in a monstrous blaze. I routed them back to their dens in deep within the crust, the mantle of the earth.
Now, hang on just a moment there. I am well versed in the slave trade, as you well know, and I've never once seen a slave understand the concept of fire. So I'm just gonna have to stop you right there and demand an explanation for this obvious hole in your story.
Obviously, you aren't a very good slave driver, because if you
How dare you, sir!
Oh
Now
my
that
God.
right there's the last straw. How dare you question my slave driving credentials?
my-
We're gonna need to throw down, you and me, right now.
If
This is how
I've
we do it in the
dispensed with
Wild
1,000 slaves, you will be nothing compared to my skills with the pistol.
I am sick of these insults and this frankly, your old money lifestyle is disgusting to me. I don't respect a man further than I can throw him, and I'm thinking I can throw you a couple of football fields there, Junior. So let's get down to it.
Cowboy big guns, I don't care to raise my voice, but I dare declare that you may be of mud blood ancestry.
You
My goodness.
are correct, but nonetheless, I am offended. Let's get to it right now. Throw down your rocks and your papers and your scissors in the chat immediately.
Oh
Here
my
we go.
goodness.
I'm gonna
oh my
kill
lord.
you.
A duel.
We're
A duel
breaking
has
out right
broken
here at
out.
the table.
It's
Rock,
happening.
paper,
It's life and
scissors.
Shit. Okay. All right. Here we go. Again.
Rock.
Again.
How
Okay.
thrilling.
Paper, scissors. Fuck.
Aha! Aha! The point is mine. All right. The best of three. Here we go. Here we
Officer
go.
Doctors gain the
Rock,
upper hand.
Paper.
There.
Scissors.
Scissors. Yes.
Damn it. Damn you. All right. All right. The final pull.
Wait,
Here we go.
The,
All right,
the two,
here we go.
the two
Rock,
of you, the two of you
Paper.
could still.
Scissors.
Scissors. Yes. You're dead.
Oh, no.
You're dead.
That's not a real. That's not real. You didn't even say a word. All right, fine.
Yeah, it's proven. It's proven that you are of donkey/mule variety, sir.
Damn.
You are of a flea pit variety, and you shall be cast from the table!
It was a family secret, but I guess it's out now.
How filthy.
These coins.
I've
Take
recently picked up some slang from the Orient, and I must say that you, sir, have been owned.
Somebody, call a wench over and have them send
Mop
for a
up the
doctor.
blood.
Have them send for a doctor. Even mop up the blood. Send for a doctor for the esteemed Doctor Officer Cowboy Rumsfeld. Your doctor
I'll
as
see you in
as,
court.
as you you're welcome to sit at our table.
I'll just
as-
sit
as-
here and bleed. Thank
as
you.
we wait for the ambulance to arrive, for the horse and carriage
As
with
I
a red cross
descended
painted
into
on it
the
to arrive.
refugee slave encampment, the hidden slave kingdom deep within the earth's mantle, I knew that trouble was afoot! And so I entered the wayward dark kingdom, not dark because they're black, but as in it's encased with shadows. I promise I'm not racist. I enter the disgusting ilk! And I enter, and they immediately began speaking in rhymes and riddles, much like famed My Little Pony character Zecora. I knew that blue plant would be no joke. If I can take her words to heart.
Baron Munchausen. I don't know much about. This Western animation renaissance that I've been hearing has been going on lately. But I believe that the program being questioned was told that it's written by a woman, written by a female is running the show, and I don't believe that such a thing is allowed by God's law.
Transphobe that you are!
I don't think we should. I don't think
see
we
the
should
bigotry runs in the
be
family.
discussing this at this table.
I see the bigotry runs in the family.
I'm gonna have to ask that we cut this talk short immediately on my honor as a man of God.
Well, I'm gonna have to say, fucking 1v1 me.
I'll draw your.
My God, is he going for it again?
You've spent all your
I'm
bullets.
trying to
Draw
say
draw
my
your
riveting
sword.
story about how I've enslaved thousands of Africans, and you come here nitpicking and saying that the themes do not resonate with you, sir. I was just about to get to the DDR section where I duel the king of the Africans in a duel of DDR where he is blasting "Rock You Like a Hurricane" and I have to dance using the Xbox 360's D-pad. But you, sir, I just come in to ruin everyone's good time.
Unfortunately, Baron, I'm afraid that you're gonna have to cut your story short and draw your saber or rapier or flamberge and duel me like proper old blood. Are you ready?
You, sir,
Are
have
you
a
ready,
deal.
Baron? All right, then on the count of 3, let us draw.
All right.
One.
Rock,
Paper,
scissors.
scissors. Okay.
All
Okay.
right, time.
All right.
Rock,
Paper,
scissors.
scissors.
Ah.
You're a worthy opponent. A worthy opponent, Baron Munchausen. Rock, paper,
Scissors.
scissors.
Ah.
Aha!
The pressure's on.
Rock,
Rock, paper,
scissors.
scissors.
Oh God.
Rock, paper,
Mistake.
Scissors!
It has been slain.
The
Oh,
Baron
there
has
he
been
goes.
the Baron has been wounded. Good thing we've already got a horse and carriage ambulance
Yep.
on the way.
We've got a
Well,
nice
it's a
blood pool
good
here
thing
for you
because
to
I was
join
really
me in.
floundering with that last story.
Yeah. How many coins in your purse? How many do I add to my?
I believe, Chicago Boy Big Guns had the full 5, right?
Yeah, you got the 5 for me.
So I
Mm-hmm.
have 10.
So, all right, putting me at a cool 14, I believe. Yeah.
That's
You know,
actually, I think, disadvantageous for you because now Mage is guaranteed to win.
Oh my God.
yeah, it's true. Well, fine. Well, she's gonna have to end up spending it buying another round anyway. So,
Anyway, I enslaved the Africans and I won the game.
Gotcha.
But what
all
about
right.
your twin brother?
Well, it's too late. The
I
story's
guess
cut
we'll
off.
never.
Moving
I
on.
guess
Here
we'll
we
never
go.
know.
Go.
I guess we'll never know.
I'm half black and he was the king of the Africans.
Okay.
Oh
great.
boy. Well, that was an exciting round.
Indeed.
Wait. So, who? Mage. You asked Munchie. So I guess.
Munchie is asking you.
But
Or
Munchie's
come to
dead.
you. Well, he's bleeding.
He's still. I mean, he's not dead yet. He'll soon in short
Okay.
order.
Archbishop Ben,
Yes.
I implore you to tell the class, the court, and all of our beautiful listeners who have rang that bell and subbed for sub. I implore you to tell them the story of how you narrowly escaped from beheading during the French Revolution from Maximilian Robespierre himself overseeing your mock trial. How'd you get out of that one, buddy?
Yes. The esteemed Maximilian Robespierre. He and I.
They go way back.
He and I go way back. For you see, we came to play at dice one evening. This was again before I joined the clergy. In my wild and capricious youth, I was dicing at a table with Robespierre, and I had wagered a sizable sum against Messrs. Robespierre's own his family breeches, the breeches that had been passed down from his father and his father before him. They were the only thing of value he had on him, having already taken the shirt off his back.
Ah, yes,
it was
of
time
course.
to take the breeches off his nethers, and so winning the game as I always do. He being a man of ill repute and no moral fiber, he used his political clout. You know, he had me thrown in jail. He had me accused of corruption, of witchcraft, of homosexuality, and all manner of heinous crimes. Yes, I know.
God forbid the homosexuals procreate. Unlike you, who is clearly straight, but just due to the circumstances forced to be gay.
Correct. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, that whole Pope thing. It was a weird time
It was
in
a
church.
fling, it was a fling.
It was a weird
was a
thing.
fling.
It's a
I mean,
historical
you are
footnote.
what you do regularly, and he only was gay for a little while. So.
It's fine. It's we all just look back and laugh at that one.
I sure relate to that, unless it's unrelatable, in which case I don't.
And my turtle son, he was, we all have a good laugh about it the other day.
Right.
So there I was, ready to be beheaded, for all my crimes. However, this being the French Revolution, Messer Robespierre found himself in the gallows on the very same day. as a matter of fact, by an accident of history. We both, in fact, ended up there in the same guillotine. As a matter of fact, in the rare double guillotine. Yeah. So we were making small talk, as we do, waiting for the blade to drop.
So wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Can you please just clarify who is this in the guillotine next to you? Just again, please. Just
this is Messer Robespierre himself. Who had
okay,
himself.
Yeah.
You're probably wondering how I found myself in this situation.
As a historiographer, I can say that's definitely the case, and I can verify your story. So I'm just on your side right now. I just want to make sure that you know that this is like accurate, stamped.
I'm glad that you're not letting the fact that he murdered you get in the way of supporting.
Water
truth.
on the bridge.
We found ourselves. We found ourselves with a common plight here. I think
it was really fun when you killed me. What if you and me were to make another similar board game as this based upon killing? I think we could really make a profit, a killing doing that together, Archbishop did.
So we were in the double guillotine, ready for the blades to drop, and. God smiled upon me this day, and the twin blades of the double guillotine, the guillotine as it was called, dropped and just by accident of geometry, sliced each other in half. The blades sliced each other in half. Falling.
They should have bought the double guillotine from my company. We make them good. They kill. They don't cut each other up. That's
your company supplied many a fine tool of that historical event. So anyway, it obviously being God's will that we not be executed. We stood up, shook hands, made out a little bit, and I went and joined the clergy that very day. And,
the gay.
Well, no, it can be like you were gay before, but then you joined the clergy, and it's fine. It's a lot of ups and downs. That's a sordid tale. The Pope thing, and it's all very complicated. It's all very immaterial. It's all nonsense. So that's my story, and let any man who defies it eat of
my ass.
Eat of my ass. Yeah, eat of my holy ass.
Boo!
Now, the question is, I'm assuming due to the fact that Mr. Officer, Doctor,
Cowboy, big
Cowboy, all of those things is quite deceased, but not yet.
He is certainly he's too wounded. He's much too wounded to tell.
It was merely a flesh wound.
I mean,
a flesh wound for my fleshlight.
Well, I mean, what do you think? I mean, he might end up bleeding out if we force him to tell a story.
And he does not have any coins to defend himself with.
I think I'm dead personally. I think I'm deceased.
What a shame. Well, I mean, we'll have to wait for the doctor to pronounce.
I'm
that's
afraid
right.
I have to pronounce him dead, gentlemen.
You pronounce yourself dead with your medical training.
I dare say that he might be dead in this life, but if there were to be some sort of like Marvel Cinematic Universe deja vu, like reality, like AU, where we play this game again, he might return. There, I'm dying. I'm dead.
It might just be pronouncing himself dead might be a ruse to get out of telling another story. I guess time will tell.
I'll never tell.
Well, whatever the case.
Yes. So, that being the case, Princess Mage of whatever heathen land you hail from.
Purple Plains.
Why don't you tell me the story, the strange circumstances, about the bet you made with the Count of Monty Hall that you could outrun a hare over 50 yards, and how you won it?
I suppose I could.
Yes, I'd be most intrigued.
Not one of my more grandiose stories, but
no, indeed.
So,
but I mean, everyone knows the legendary swiftness of the common hare.
That is correct. Now, I was minding my own business at a tavern, much like this one, taking a rest from my long journey that I'm still currently on. When I was approached by this gentleman who questioned me and my purple skin yet again, I was getting quite tired.
There's just racism wherever you go.
Yes, you'd think people have never seen a purple skinned person before. So, I had to explain that I came from my country and that I was nobility, and he dared to question this, both the country and my status.
Did you challenge him to a duel?
I did, but he did not accept on account of
I'll rephrase that. I'll wager, Princess Mage, that you then challenged him to a duel to the death on your honor and your claim to nobility.
Yes, I actually did. However,
naturally.
However, he did not accept on account of me being female, which offended me even more.
Yes.
So
I would have done the same.
Well, you should consider yourself lucky that you haven't. Anyway, so
I won the last duel I was in. Don't make me challenge you to another one. I've got blood on my hands tonight already.
So, to continue the story, because he declined my offer to a duel, I asked him how could I, prove my honor and status and stuff. And he came up with the most ludicrous idea of me racing a hare. And at first I found it insulting, but then I said, I will if you will as well. So he had to accept it. So all three of us decided that next day...
him, and the hare, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
the three of
well,
us.
the hair is very essential after all.
True.
I must count the presence of the hair. Otherwise it would be a moot race. So we all agreed that upon the next day, at high noon, as it was a fun tradition of their lands, we would meet up at a certain place and have the race. Now, what he did not know that the night before, I snuck out of my tavern and I called upon one of those wild beasts you call angels, I believe, ripped their wings
goodness.
off.
What?
Oh my god!
And mounted on top of myself. So the next day, I came into the race using the wings of this beast, of this feral beast.
You do have a lot of spare wings, though, to be fair. Spare some.
I flew faster than the wind itself, and I won the race by more than a hair.
Madam Princess Mage, your story upsets me to my very core, and I believe that what we have here is not a princess of the Purple Plains, but a common demon.
Oh, my
Jesus
God.
Christ!
I refuse.
What say
this.
you, villain?
I refuse this because I do not know what a demon is. I just know of a few creatures of your land, and demon has not yet been something I have encountered, so I cannot be something I do not know of.
Kill her anyway!
Yeah, I'm going.
Duel!
In the name of God, I challenge you to a duel. I will banish thee back. I shall banish thee back from whence it came. I got my Aspergillum right here. I'm all out of holy water, so I'm just gonna put the last of my Monster Energy Ultra Zero in it. It should get the job done. And I challenge you, Mage, to a duel.
Am I allowed to reject this duel on account of you being male?
No, it doesn't work that way.
You would have. Well, here's the thing. You would be able to. However, I have more tokens than you, and therefore you cannot rebut. You cannot rebut as many duel challenges as I can make.
That's true.
I'm spending all my coins here, all the coins that I won in my story. So draw your sword, draw your weapon, draw your conjure your eldritch energies. We're doing that. Only one of us is walking out of here tonight.
Oh my God, it's bloodbath in here tonight.
It's a blood. All right.
Very well.
Are you ready,
Ready.
demon? All right. Then on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, damn it!
I don't
No.
think she is a demon, dude.
I think she's a I think
she that good at video games.
Look,
kicking
if
your
I
ass
win,
right
if I
now.
win, if I win, she's a demon, and if I don't, God's gonna be real mad at me. All right, all right. 1, 2, 3. Damn it!
Oh my
no!
God, it's over.
There we go.
I was handily outmatched.
It's
Oh,
2 out
man.
of 3.
God's gonna kick my ass, guys.
I did not want this duel, but
The
you
Pope's
called
gonna divorce you.
but this is the fate you chose.
Oh.
So,
well.
good-
kills
goodbye,
me, Ben
bleeding
kills
gentleman
Munchie,
on the
maybe
floor.
Munchie kills
By the
Ben.
way, I don't think this will be edited into the podcast at all. Maybe it will. But I just want to say that basically every single play any of us has done, starting with me, has just been rock. We've just all been doing rock over and over again.
I have noticed that, by the way.
This is pure paper, though.
I was
your
like,
paper
surely she won't paper again. Surely she'd expect me to change up my
Surely.
strategy.
I was a
It's
few steps
skill-based.
ahead. I've noticed the pattern that you guys have been having, so
Huzzah, Ben.
Huzzah!
Archbishop Ben. You are the sole ruler of the Roman Empire.
Wow, nice.
how so?
Um,
I won.
Oh,
Yeah, but-
Yeah, she won,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, fuck you, Ben. I meant
God
mage.
Well, huzzah that a doctor is already on his way.
Yes, here I am. I'm afraid I have to declare you dead as well, my friend. It's
Ah,
over for you.
ah,
Munchie,
shucks.
You're
Can I
definitely
get,
dead
can I
over
get a
here.
second opinion?
Yes, you're
well,
dead.
luckily, I'm also a doctor of theology, and I'm afraid from those.
I'm going to hell as well.
Yep, on that as well. Your definitely soul is dead. There's no question about that.
All right. Well,
Oh, well.
this I'd say this was a successful evening.
You're all
Three of us
bleeding on the
lying
floor,
bleeding out on the
dying.
floor.
Yeah.
And I just
I-
walk away with coins, and I don't even need to buy a second round of drinks because you're all dead.
It's true.
This was a very successful evening, and I dare say that once we are reincarnated from the kingdom of heaven and once again walk these lowly plains of the earth, I dare say we must play this game again.
But not tonight.
Yes. I
Not tonight, but now it's time to rest and just lay in my grave and just allow maggots and worms to eat my body as I decompose, so I can play some DDR with Jesus in heaven.
Right. Well, I mean, I died fighting what I perceived as evil. So I'm sure that, right or wrong, Jesus is we're gonna be tight. We're gonna be tight.
I think if
it's what
there's
I
one
always
thing we
wanted.
can learn from this is that God is real and we all love him.
And the god is me.
Unless
Yeah.
case that it turns out to not be the case someday, in which case I wholeheartedly reject the very idea.
Well, as a purely materialistic man, I acknowledge that God is real, but I hate him, therefore I'm an atheist. And, this just hasn't worked out well for me at all, frankly. It's really unfortunate.
Well, the year is 17 XDX, and we're all dead except Princess
Princess
Mage,
Yeah,
It was
good.
like-
It was my
Huzzah.
pleasure.
whose quest continues.
Indeed.
Well, with my dying breath,
Huzzah!
with my dying breath, I wish you, dear listeners, on this video cassette that you're listening to right now, antiquated technology, analog lover that you are,
On your Victrola.
I just want to say thank you for buying this legally at whatever shop you may have purchased it at, and like, comment, rate, subscribe, patron. Download on VidMe, download on iTunes,
Sub for sub.
sub for
Sub
sub,
ring the bell, please ring the bell.
and please call a doctor because I'm dying. In fact, I'm dead right now.
Indeed. We'll see you
And
next
off
time.
I go to my journey. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us, people. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, ugh. Death.